Thanks, Phil. Um, some of you know me, some of you don't. Again, as Phil said, my name is Tim Winters. I'm the executive pastor here. I've been here 23 years, longer than some of you have been born, I'm sure. Um, you may wonder what an executive pastor does. Uh, I'm sort of the CFO and the CEO of a corporation. My job is to free up Pastor Dudley to cast vision for our church, which he does yearly, and also to preach. He works on his messages throughout the week, and I free him up to do that by overseeing the day-to-day operations of the church, overseeing the staff, the ministries, the finances, the maintenance, and all the people involved in the building. So that's kind of what I do. Dudley and I both report to the elders of the church. Again, Dudley casts the vision, and it's our job as a staff to implement that vision. I want to share with you just real quickly, real brief, and a little bit of history behind this Sunday evening service. Back in the year 2000, we had a vision to start a ministry for college-age students, people the ages 18 to 25. At that time, we had a young pastor on staff. His name was Kyle Eidelman. Kyle wrote a book called Not a Fan. He was on our staff as an intern, and then he later planted a church for us up in Santa Cruz called Real Life, which is around about 5,000 people now. But Kyle was here on our staff, and Kyle had a vision also to reach college-age students. So we started a service on Sunday nights, and we called it Sunday Night Church. We're very original in our naming of things. It was SNC for short. We had Sunday Night Church, and it was an additional service that we expected people to go to the main services, then college students would come back again on Sunday nights for that service. That went on for several years. Again, Kyle planted the church up in Santa Cruz, and then he eventually moved back to the Midwest to a church called Southeast Christian Church, so he couldn't do the Sunday night church anymore. And by that time, we'd hired another young pastor named Todd Clark. And Todd was on our staff for a while, and then he planted a church out in Simi Valley called Discovery Church. And Todd took over Sunday Night Church and led that really for as long as he could, leading both churches and both ministries until he couldn't do it anymore. And then when Todd left, we had another young pastor on staff. His name was Dave Flegg. And Dave took over the ministry. And again, when Dave took over, I think it was around 2004, he approached us about changing the name from SNC, Sunday Night Church, to being The Vine. And we did that at the time, changed the name to The Vine. And Dave took it for a few years. And then Dave moved on up to Northern California to Elk Grove and started a church, or actually took over a church, became the senior pastor of a church up in Elk Grove. And then around 2009, Pastor Phil was actually serving with Dusty in the youth ministry, over in the youth ministry. And he was brought over to lead The Vine here and has been there since 2009, leading The Vine, doing very well at that. Phil approached us many years ago, about, I don't know how long ago, but he said, let's make this an alternative service where we reach not just the 18 to 25 years, but make it a broader service and kind of turn in our own service, collect our own offerings. And we thought that sounded like a great idea, and that's what we've done. And so let me fast forward now to really last fall. I come on, fast forward to last fall. Many of you know that Phil took an extended time off last fall, and part of it was just to kind of think through some things personally, but more importantly, just to get some rest. He needed some rest and went through some things. So he took that time to kind of think through those things, take a break. And then when he came back toward the end of the year, he decided that he felt like God was telling him that this chapter, this season of his ministry at the Vine was coming to a close, and God had laid upon his heart some other things that he'll probably be explained to you later, what he kind of wants to do. So again, we heard that, we listened to that, and really since that time, we've been praying. Leadership's been praying about what that means, what we should do with the Vine going forward. And some of you probably think that it took us way too long to come to you and tell you what we decided. But I'm just telling you, we've been praying this whole time. And we really want it to be what God wanted it to be, not what we want it to be. Because sometimes we want to do just what's easy. And that's not always what God wants us to do. So we've really been seeking God. And again, I apologize to some of you who think it should have happened quicker. But we really want to take our time and make sure that we were clearly listening to God and what he wanted us to want this Vine service to be. So we had a couple things in the back of our mind as we were going through this process, some things that we knew in the back of our minds as we were praying through this. One was, again, that the vision of this service originally was for college-age students. That was the reason we did the service. That was the purpose of it. We also had in the back of our minds that we're building a 3,500-seat auditorium, which we broke ground for last week. And you noticed when you came in tonight, you had to walk along a little ways. But we knew we were breaking ground and building a 3,500-seat auditorium, which may not mean anything to you, but for us, it means we're going to have fewer services in the future. We don't have as many services. We had that in the back of our mind. Again, we knew Phil was going to be leaving around Easter time. Phil also mentioned we took a break. This service takes a break around Easter time. So we had all those things in mind as we were processing through this. And probably the most important thing we had in our mind was how important each and every one of you are to the story of Shepherd Church. So all those things in our mind, all those things we're processing. And so we've came to the decision that we, after the 22nd, we're not going to restart the Vine service, the Sunday night church. And I want you to hear this. Please hear this. I know that probably disappoints some of you, but that does not mean you're unimportant. It actually means just the opposite. We have talked so much about how important, especially you young people, again, I've been working longer than you guys have been alive. You're much younger than I am. I am old. I am tired. I'm ready to be done with what I'm doing. But we need your generation to be leading our church, to be a very important part of the shepherd story. We need your leadership. We need your creativity. We need your worship. We need your service. We need your heart. We need your passion. We need all those things in the life of our shepherd story overall. And we have 5 weekend services to pick from. We have 2 Saturday night, 3 Sunday morning. We have 3 locations. We have 3 services at West Valley. We have a service at Agua Dulce. We have a service at Westside. Every one of our locations could use any of you. We are dying for volunteers, especially young people. We could use your passion and your gifts. So every one of you is important. And so I just want you to know that it's probably a disappointment to some of you who are stopping the service. Please know that I love you. You're very important to us. I mean, I'd love to see every one of you who are volunteering, whatever you do for the Vine, to start doing on our weekends, because we need you. We need volunteers in every single area. And one thing we're going to do in the coming weeks is we're going to have some of our ministries come to the Vine, and we're going to have a time after the service where you can go meet with them and talk to them about, here's my passion, here's my gift, here's what I've been doing for the Vine. How can I use it on the weekends or one of your locations in a bigger way? So we're going to do that. And I have Bahram and Dusty up here. Dusty oversees our student ministries, and he's going to talk a little bit more about how we want to stay connected to the 18 to 25-year-olds. And then Bahram, who's our life groups pastor, which next to weekend services, really life groups are the most important component to our church here at Shepherd Church. And he's going to talk a little bit more how each and every one of you, not just the 18 to 25ers, but each and every one of you can get more connected and stay connected to Shepherd Church. So I'm going to ask each one of them to speak for just a moment.
Well, hey, y'all. Good to see you. I was thinking about Phil, and he's talking about the kids. I still remember when I called him to ask him to work with high school. He's like, high school kids? And it was really adults, but making me laugh. So I oversee the high school and middle school here. We call that Shepherd Youth. I've been here at Shepherd for almost 10 years this summer. Love that. I know I had some of you when you were in Hannah there, and some others of you when you're in high school and middle school, which that does not mean I'm getting old. But with the transition of the Vine as we know it currently, I'll still oversee middle school through high school, but I'm also gonna lead a ministry effort of 18 to 25-year-old college age adults, young adults, and and I've been in full-time ministry for a little more than 18 years, and so I've worked with college-age young adults in different ways, often as volunteers, for a lot of years. And I feel like the season of life in those years are extremely significant. I mean, a lot of the decisions that you make within that window of time is gonna framework the rest of your life, and whether it be career and relationship and process. And so I feel like that's a time, that 18 to 25-year-old window is a time of searching and reasoning and refining who you are, as well as a time of questioning, what you believe and how you are going to live. And Tim already said it really, really well. Shepherd Church needs young adults, and I specifically want to tell you it needs, college age young adults, and it needs you right now. All the things that Pastor Tim mentioned. But also because I believe that age, that time of life is very unique. We want to create space for there to be an opportunity for that age group to continue to meet. Some of you are already a part of college life that meets once a month. And we want to broaden that out a little bit more into a ministry that meets weekly and does some other things as well. And so my goal really is not so much to minister to you if you're an 18 to 25-year-old. My goal really is to invite you to partner with me and some others in doing ministry together. The cool thing is I've been doing youth ministry for a long time, and most of those middle school and high school kiddos, no, I don't know about most, but a lot of them, they're involved because mom and dad say they have to be. When you get to be an 18 to 25-year-old young adult, and you're involved in ministry, you're involved in serving the poor, you're involved in worship, you're involved in connecting together and doing life together. It's because you choose that. And so again, my goal is to invite those of you who are 18 to 25 to partner with me and some others to really do something kind of grassroots and create something, shape something that would be very specific to that age group. A guy named Byron Aram, who many of you know who's been serving with me for about 10 years. He's going to be joining me in that effort. Shayna and Cecile, who I'm assuming all of you know, who serve here at the Vine, they're going to be involved in that as well. And so if you're 18 to 25, we're going to be communicating some more very soon. And if you're pretty sure the Vine does not have your information and you're 18 to 25, matter of fact, can I ask you to raise your hand if you're 18 to 25 years old? I just want to see. All right, very good, thank you. If you think that the Vine does not have your info, would you please make sure they do? Make sure Shayna or Cecile gets that information so that we can continue to communicate. February 22nd, I just got two more things. February 22nd, I get to preach that night, so I'm excited about that. But also, that night after the Vine service, up in the youth room, myself and some others will be there. Any of you all that are 18 to 25 that want to hear more in detail of what this college age young adult ministry moving forward will look like, some more specifics, we want you to please come and join me for that. But in the meantime, I'm here. I work here and stuff, and so you can come find me, call me, we can go to lunch, you can ask questions, any of that. But yeah, that's it. I'll turn it over to Bahram.
Hi, my name is Bahram Khayatpour, and I oversee, as Tim shared, life groups, encounters, and school discipleship ministries here at Shepherd. And I actually started out way back with Kyle at SNC, and so this place is kind of a very special place for me. This is where God called me back. This is where I felt a call into ministry, and 12 years later, 14 years later, here I am. And one thing I want you to know is just because of just my connection with SNC and the Vine, for me, I know you guys may be sad to hear the news, and it's a little sad for me just because of my connection, but I want you to know that there is a place for you, that we have a place for you, and our goal is to make sure every single one of you get plugged in and connected. And like I said, I oversee the life groups, encounters, and school discipleship, and although those are a couple different ministries, we are about one thing, and we are about spiritual growth. We're about helping people become closer to Jesus and become more like Jesus. And we do that in three different ways, but that's what all those ministries are about. And in life groups, that's kind of our broad approach to that, to try to get as many people in life groups as we can. Right now, we have about 300 groups with over 4,000 people in groups who meet weekly. And what we do as a staff, we organize them, but we also create curriculum. We do 3 series a year. And with those series, we do a DVD that has teachings on it from pastors and leaders here at Shepherd. Every person in the life group gets a study guide that'll lead you through a Bible study. And so, like I said, we do 3 series a year based on the sermon series. So if you're in a life group, you'll go to the weekly service, you'll hear the topic, you'll go to your life group, You'll watch your 15-minute teaching DVD, and then you'll get out your study guide and you'll do a discussion-led Bible study on that same topic, and you get to go deeper and deeper into the Word. And I know many of you in here are in a life group right now, and if you are, we want you to continue with that group. We just want to partner with you and come alongside you and help you in any way we can. If you're not in a life group, we really want to get you in a life group because that's where you connect. In fact, our motto for life groups is a place where you can connect, grow to be more like Christ, and impact the community with the gospel. So if you're not in a life group, we have over 300 of them. We have all different ages and categories, and we're confident we can find one for you. Our encounters, those are our weekend retreats that are really focused around helping you refocus and recalibrate your life around the cross of Jesus so that you can take the next step in your faith. And no matter whether you're a brand new believer or you've been a believer for a while, it will help you take your next step in your faith. And the encounter is really centered around freedom. And in fact, that's one of the songs we sing is where the presence of the Lord is, there is freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And so it's centered around the freedom that Christ brings from his sacrifice. But really, what that means in our lives today and what it means in every area of our lives. We have men's encounters, we have women's encounters, and those are broken up into different areas of our lives. What are the different areas that make up a man's life and a woman's life? And that's what the teachings are about. And specifically, what does God's freedom, Christ's freedom, mean in each area of our lives as men and women today? Not just when we die, but today. And how are we to live because of that? And then finally, for those who are really want to take the next step in their discipleship and being like Jesus, we have our school discipleship process. And that is an intense 8-month course that is designed to help you understand what it means to be a disciple of Jesus. And gives you some tools and experiences to help live out that life. The school discipleship is in 3 different levels. The first level being doctrine, or what we call learning, and we give you some basic, fundamental doctrine of the Christian doctrine of what it means to be a Christian, and again, the fundamental things that you need to know. Second level is the transforming level, where we believe that every follower of Jesus needs to be transforming into his likeness. And so there we really deal with spiritual formation. What does it mean? How do you become like Jesus? What does all that mean? And we focus in on the spiritual disciplines and talk about how do you live that out in your life. And then the last level is our serving level, where we help you hone in on your spiritual gifts, your strengths, your abilities, and help you find your place in God's ministry. Where has he called you to serve and to work? And then the second part of that is we help you make disciples. We help you understand, what does that mean? We're all called to make disciples, and how do I do that here and now in the year 2015? Well, obviously, because of time, I'm giving you kind of a brief overview of those ministries, but I want you to know March 8th, we're going to have an informational meeting after the Vine upstairs in the FLC, and there we'll share the vision, the goals, the strategies of all those ministries, and we'll also share how you can get involved if you're interested. Tim shared that we need more young adult people in our church, and we do. We need more young adult leaders in our church. You guys bring a energy, an enthusiasm, and a passion for God that we need in our church, that needs to permeate through our church. And therefore, we've made some arrangements. We've changed some of our policy to make sure that you guys, this transition would be as easy as possible for you, because again, we want to see every single one of you plugged in. And so we've made those arrangements to make that transition easier. And we're excited to have you come on board with us, and have us partner with you and come alongside you in this next chapter for Shepherd. We're excited what God's going to continue doing through you. And again, March 8th, and I want to invite everyone who's involved in a life group now or involved in the discipleship program here at the Vine to be at that meeting. And I also want to invite everyone who's interested in life groups or discipleship to be at that meeting as well. Thanks for your time, and I'm going to give it back to Pastor Phil here.